Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.
Hello, I'm Kaylin Risvold, President and CEO of the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to Inside the Chamber. Today, I'm joined by Amanda Kunzer, Director of Operations at Good Therapy Counseling. Amanda is also the chair of our Women in Business Committee, so welcome and thank you for joining me, Amanda.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
And today's topic is, in fact, women in business. I want to talk about I've seen some articles out there and some statistics about how the pandemic is affecting women in business. And I want to see what you're hearing through the committee and through your job.
Well, we are definitely seeing a decline of women in the workforce due to, yes, COVID-19. It is sad. It's concerning because we've come quite a way. Women make up, over half the workforce. So it is a concern, and women are pulling out and staying home more to deal with the family responsibilities.
Yeah. And do you think part of that is because, we know women make 77 cents of the dollar for every man makes? If you're sitting and looking at who's helping with e-learning, does it make sense to have someone who's making, in theory, the man may be making more money than the woman in a certain relationship?
It's interesting you say that, because the culture around the world is that if there is a job opening or if someone should go to work, the man is expected to go and get that job over the woman. And I think that, especially with the e-learning, we're really struggling, women, because we are doing most of the e-learning. We are doing the caring for the house, the women, family dynamics are the woman takes care of the ailing parents, the kids, cleaning, cooking, and the fire was already under the woman to keep the house afloat, and now they're burning, literally. So.
Yeah, I was reading a Harvard Business Review article, and it said their analysis shows that women's jobs are 1.8 times more vulnerable to this crisis than men's jobs. Women make up 39% of global employment, but 54% of overall job losses in May of 2020. So that's so interesting to me, to have the global numbers of nearly 40% of women in the workforce, but almost 60% of them have lost their job as of May of this year. And I wonder, and I don't know if if that's a combination of choice or necessity of losing or leaving your job.
It's hard to say for sure. Obviously, the COVID is but I think that a lot of those responsibilities just happen to fall on moms with kids, especially. And the concern is when we lose moms out of, or women out of the workforce, they bring a really special, diverse set of skills, right? And a culture and ideas. And we lose that when they pull out of the workforce and stay. Ideally, they have to do what's best for their families, but we're losing such a dynamic set of skills with women pulling out of the workforce.
What can women or what can employers do to help try to get these statistics to at least slow down?
Well, here's the thing. There has to be a change, right? As far as the flexibility and with this unpaid childcare, there needs to be some flexibility as far as saying, okay, you know what, if you have to take care of your kids, you need to work from home, that's what you need to do. There also needs to be the technology inclusion, right? There needs to be some understanding, or even, being flexible. Some moms have to share their computers with kids for e-learning. And so they don't even have those tools. So really being flexible with that and saying, okay, what do we need to do to make it so you are productive and you can do your job at home? So Yeah, those kind of things would be very helpful, and bringing women back in, because I think right now they're feeling like they're losing, and it's not even obtainable. I think also employers can really reach out to women and say, hey, we have, these job openings, we really want you to apply, and target women as far as marketing and promoting, because women do a lot of shopping, for the family, more so than men. So we need to be targeting them.
Yeah, I know here at the chamber, so the entire chamber staff is all women. And myself included, many have children, and I have 2 young kids. And I want to try to model to the chamber what I think other businesses can do, which is exactly what you're talking about, is that flexibility of, hey, if you want to work from home, let's figure out a way we can do that. One thing that I find interesting here at the chamber is originally when we came back into the office, we did one of those block schedules. Amanda, you're in Monday, Wednesday, I'm in Tuesday, Thursday, etc. And it got to be really tricky with the staff of, my kid is going here or there, I need to help with this timing. And I saw it didn't work, did that evaluation. And then we said, okay, the office is open. You can come when you need to. You can work from home when you need to. Update it in your calendar so we kind of know where you're at. And we've seen more people in the office, and we've seen higher productivity levels because we kind of gave people the choice. We're really focused on that results-oriented work environment. So that people can, I have lunch with my kids some days and breakfast, and I get to do all of that and kind of do my work around that. And I know that's not feasible for every business, but for some businesses it is. So I really want to emulate that flexibility that you're talking about, that I really think could make a difference.
And especially because we are valuable. And I think I don't want to say it's an easy thing to kind of work out schedules, but if you have employees that are valuable, you make those accommodations to keep them. Because right now, it's hard for everybody, right? We need to pivot a little bit. And so let's make these accommodations to keep these valuable women in their positions.
Which is something employers know anyway. If someone's looking to leave, it's like, okay, there's a cost to an employee leaving. You have to hire, you have to train, you have to onboard, that institutional knowledge that's really important. So it's costly when an employee leaves. So what can employers do to have, okay, if you want to have flexible hours, if you want to work from home, that's the least of what I can do to keep your talent. Man, women, or anything, just focus on keeping good talent in the workforce.
Give them the tools. That's the other thing, right? So give them the tools. If they need a laptop because they have one laptop at home and they're sharing it with their kids, and the kids need e-learning, like, let's get them a laptop. Obviously I know there's a cost, but it's less costly than the onboarding of a new staff.
And that's one thing I'm hoping is a lesson learned through the pandemic, right? Is grace, giving people just a little bit of grace on timing. And there are days I've taken, a Zoom call while driving, and I just have it on over my car because I'm going from place to place, whether it's a meeting or to take my kids somewhere. I feel like we've all given each other a little bit more grace. And I hope that is something that can keep women who want to stay in the workforce staying in the workforce. I think that's kind of what it's all about. If someone doesn't want to be in the workforce, man or woman, that's fine. But what can we do to remove those barriers so if they want to do it, it's an option?
I totally agree. And it just comes down to we have to execute that. We know it. And so let's remove these barriers and let's do it. And I think the sooner we do that, we can get these women back in the workforce for sure.
Now, as chair of Women in Business Committee, what conversations are you having within the committee about how you can keep women engaged, either within the committee or within the business community?
It's definitely been a challenge with COVID. And again, grace, you need to give grace with everyone. And some people's comfortability is different. Some people have wanted in-person events. Some people have wanted virtual. And so we try and accommodate both. But the main thing is we want that relationship building between the women. We want to hold that door open for women who are trying to get through it, and that's what we're trying to do. And so it was a little difficult with COVID, but the women are saying, we're here, whatever you can do, we want to attend. So we do offer both. We do the in-person virtual event. So if you don't feel like coming out to an event, we have it, virtually or streaming or whatnot. And just, reaching out and hearing, what are you wanting? What are you wanting to hear about, see? And so, yeah, it's been difficult, a definite pivot for what women in business. We do like those fun in-person events with dynamic speakers. And it's been a little bit of a challenge, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, a challenge is something, we can always rise to the occasion and rise to the challenge. But I just want to echo what I'm hearing for you too, is I've scheduled some meetings in the morning and people say, okay, I got to get my kids to school. I schedule them in the afternoon. I'm still helping with e-learning. It's trying to find that sweet spot of what works for everybody. And sometimes the answer is it doesn't work for everybody. And I think that's been tricky.
It definitely is. And here's the deal. If it doesn't work for you at that time or that meeting, then, okay, so how are we going to problem solve that? Okay, so you're going to get the notes, or we're going to talk real quick on the phone, or whatever it is to keep everybody moving. Because again, yes, we need to be a little creative. We need to be giving grace, and this is not going to last forever. And if anything, this does build character, as we know. But again, it's really working, at least since I'm focused on women here, leaning on each other and helping each other out, because we're all in different boats. Some have kids, some don't have kids, some are trying to get their business off the ground, and so they're an entrepreneur, and that is so difficult right now. And so we all need to be helping each other, and again, help each other get through those doors. Big time.
So we're talking about flexibility in the workforce, and it's not just important to be flexible with the moms or the women. It's important to be flexible with all parents in the workforce, because we're all in this pandemic, we're doing something new together. But I want employers to know that it's not just taking care of your women, but taking care of all parents as well.
Exactly. It's so important. And that's one of the things that was really important to me when I took chair for Women in Business, is that I wanted to convey that women in business isn't just for the women wearing power suits and work at Fortune 500 companies. It's the recent college grads, first job, starting out. It's the seasoned worker who just wants to sharpen their skills. It's the moms staying at home and yet trying to launch their business at home. And I wanted it to be clear there is enough room at that table. And I wanted all women to come and feel supported, because we need to do that for each other.
We do. We need to take care of each other and look at good leaders like yourself. Thank you for stepping up into this leadership position to show people part of the solution is talking about the problem and letting people know, hey, are you thinking about the flexibility for the women in your workforce? Are the women in your workforce engaging with each other? And again, just removing those barriers. So I really appreciate your conversation and insight.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Inside the Chamber.
Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.